Kinks and Beats Daily. I am your host, Tony Fry. Thank you for downloading today's episode. You will hear in my voice, this cold is not going away anytime soon. This is like the third or fourth podcast in a row where I have not sounded great. So needless to say, I won't be singing at all today in today's episode unless you'd like me to do, Montana or something. I might be moving to Montana soon. It takes a cold for me to sing that song. I can't quite get those low notes. So maybe I'll record some Zappa covers after I'm done with this recording. Today is January 31st, and on this day in 1969, the single Toy Maker is released by the band Wild Silk. Why am I bringing this up on Kinks and Beats Daily? I'll tell you why. Because the song is written by Ray Davies and produced by Shel Talmy. But it registers no chart activity at all. Nothing. It doesn't do anything. It's not written about. It's a nothing song. To this day, the song has under 1,000 streams on Spotify. And I listened to it. I'd never heard about it until I discovered it just prior to recording this. It's not one of those tunes that I think, well, shoot, if Ray and Dave had their hand at it, this would have been a good tune. It's not one of Ray's best songs. But Wild Silk's version, also not great. And not really of the time for 1969. It feels more like a 65, 66 recording. But I didn't dig too deep into researching anything beyond what I just told you. Before we get to today's song, I want to remind you we are putting together a bonus episode of your Mars picks. I'm sending you to Mars for a year, and you can take one Kinks or one Beatles album as your sole source of musical entertainment for the year you're at Mars. Which one do you take and why? Email me kinksandbeats@herohabit.com or send me a voicemail so we can hear your voice on this episode at 925-494-1739. Again, one Kinks or Beatles album. Why are you picking it? Which one do you pick? Why are you picking it? 925-494-1739. This bonus episode will go out first to folks who are contributing via our subscription program at herohabit.com. So if you go over there for $4 a month, you help keep this podcast ad-free. And then I will get you these bonus episodes like this or like the full-length album episodes that many of you are asking for a lot. Those will go out to these subscribers first and then to the general podcast stream a few weeks afterwards. All right? So give me those Mars picks. Today we are talking about the song Killer's Eyes, which was released August 26, 1981 on the Give the People What They Want album. And we have covered, it seems like a lot of songs from this album, maybe just a couple recently. But this album is starting to grow on me much more than it used to. I've always liked it. It's got some of my favorite songs on it. But breaking it down song by song is kind of changing my perception of it. The album charted at number 15 in the US, no chart activity in the UK. So this was a hit album, at least on the American charts. And the song was written during a travel day. The Kinks played Liverpool on May 12th, which was the night that there was an assassination attempt on Pope John Paul II. And then on the 13th, during a travel day between Liverpool and Glasgow, he wrote this song. And it's inspired by the assassination attempt. It was recorded between April and July 1981 and featured in their set list when they played Madison Square Garden October 3rd, 1981, just a few days before my birth. One thing I will talk about is the opening riff is very cool for starters, and not one that you would immediately associate with the Kinks. And if you guys listen to the band Spoon, a current band, they have a song called "Don't Make Me a Target" that very much borrows from this riff. So the Kinks riff, pretty simple. You're starting with a B power chord, which is just the root in the fifth. And then you're just sliding that fifth down a half step. So now it's a flat 5. Then you're sliding it down again. Now it's a 4. Then you're sliding it down again. Then it's a third. It's a cool little riff. And then if you listen to Don't Make Me a Target, it uses that same kind of... use basically the same riff, maybe even in the same key. I didn't check that. Beyond that, this song's cool. To me, it's a minute too long. There are a lot of words in this record, on this track, and there are a lot of instances in the melody where it feels like Ray had penned this song, the lyrics to it, and had this guitar riff or whatever laying around that he didn't have words for and kind of made it fit. There are instances, and you don't get this often with a Ray Davies composition, but there are instances where it's clear that the melody and the lyrics weren't written necessarily together because you've got weak words on strong beats or vice versa. And it's just too long. But there are some cool lyrics. I see so little hope in you, so much despair. As I look in your eyes, I wonder what thoughts linger there. Life means nothing to you, at least that's what they say, but it doesn't mean that you have the right to take life away. I mean, it's kind of heavy-handed, but how are we to know what was going on inside your mind? You never let it show what was going on behind those killer's eyes. And then we get to, you've seen your picture in the paper. Your little sister's pinned it to the wall. This is the section to me that really does not fit. And the structure of the meter here doesn't really fit with the lyrics. And then the lyrics don't really fit. It just feels very cobbled together. That said, I still like this song. I'm not crazy about some of the keyboard work on it. It's a little synth heavy, where I would have liked rather to maybe heard a Hammond organ or whatever. But you also have to take this in context of the times. This is recorded in 1981. You're going to get more synth stuff than Hammond organ. This is not 71 anymore. So that's Killer's Eyes. There's not a lot to talk about on this song. It is what it is. It's a solid track. I bet it rocked live. Ray did not sing it when I saw him live, but I bet this one rocked live, and probably didn't feel quite as long. I mean, it's 4.5 minutes, 4:38, which makes it the second longest song on the album behind the opener, Around the Dial. But it's this. I mean, what do we got here? Better Things is 2 minutes and 45 seconds, and that's a full song. You know, Back to Front is 3:16. That's a full, complete song. Like, all these other songs have just as much content and meat to their bones as Killer's Eyes, but they say it and get it over with. And we really don't need a repeat of the refrain. So that's Killer's Eyes. I guess I don't have much to say about this one. It's a solid song. If you haven't heard it in a while, it is up on the Spotify playlist. And since today is Friday, you can go to HeroHabit.com, and we have updated the discography listing. So all of the songs from this week are up on there, free to listen to. And you can search by particular album. We are 81 episodes in, so we are nearing 100. And I think episode 100 is going to surprise you what song I picked, because it's not necessarily a big monumental track. All right. So go ahead and give me that call, 925-494-1739, or kinksandbeats@herohabit.com. If you ever forget how to get a hold of me, you can go to herohabit.com, and under the podcast banner, there is a Kinks and Beats page. So go check it out there. Join our Kinks and Beats daily group on the website and start a conversation. And if you are so inclined to help us keep the bills paid and the show ad free, contribute $4 a month, 20 cents an episode, and we can keep this thing going for a long time. All right, I will talk to you guys, hopefully with a clearer voice next time. Have a great day. This podcast is presented by the Hero Habit Podcast Network. Swing by HeroHabit.com today to comment on this episode and poke around our growing database of sports and pop culture news, reviews, and collectibles. HeroHabit.com. Collect your heroes.